Now at 5, Miami high school teachers and staff start off the school year with fresh ideas. Plus, Missouri Southern Lions take pride with a Spirit Tunnel pep rally, and
President Trump prepares to meet Russia's President Putin for a high-stakes summit. I'm Willie James Inman in Anchorage, Alaska with details.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Anthony Saviello. President Trump is meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska right now. The hastily arranged summit aims to figure out a way to end Russia's war with Ukraine. CBS News correspondent Willie James Inman is in Anchorage, close to where the meeting is taking place.
President Trump touched down first near Anchorage, followed by Russian President Vladimir Putin. The leaders then greeted each other on the tarmac at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson. The work quickly got underway with a sit-down meeting, with the media capturing the opening moments. The meeting marks the first time since Putin has been in the U.S. since 2015, when he attended the United Nations General Assembly in New York.
It will be very severe.
On Air Force One before landing in Alaska, President Trump warned of severe economic consequences if Russia does not move towards peace.
I want to see a ceasefire. This is not to do with Europe. Europe's not telling me what to do.
European countries are concerned Putin is not serious about peace talks, with Russia's continued assaults on Ukraine.
President Trump, he's got to guard against making concessions to Putin that are going to alienate our European allies.
Protesters are in Alaska voicing their concerns.
It's not okay to do business with fascists, and the invasion of Ukraine should be punishable by sanctions, which we have to stick to.
Trump had said if things go well today, a second summit with Ukraine and Russia is possible. Willie James Inman, CBS News, Anchorage, Alaska.
The Kremlin says it expects the talks to last at least 6 hours. The United Nations reports July as the deadliest month for civilians in Ukraine since May of 2022, with 286 killed and just under 1,400 injured across 18 regions. Long-range missiles and short-range drones are major threats. Since Russia's invasion in February of 2022, over 13,883 civilians, including 726 children, have died, and more than 35,000 have been injured. Let's go ahead and check a first look at the weather with meteorologist Doug Hetty.
Well, it definitely turned out to be another hot one outside for us on this Friday. And unfortunately, really no changes heading into the weekend. We're looking at upper 90s all the way through Tuesday. We do have a heat advisory in effect, kind of low criteria, that heat index, about 100 to 105 degrees across the region. Some rain chances next Tuesday into Wednesday, and then a little bit cooler as we get into late next week. All right, let's go through time. So 76, 77 to start. So a very muggy start across the region. As we get into the afternoon, a lot of 96s, 97s, 98 for afternoon highs. So it's going to be hot Saturday, very similar to what we saw today. Heading into Sunday afternoon, much of the same, 96, 97, 98 degrees. But we're going to look at those rain chances all coming up here in just a bit.
Doug, thanks. As the school year at Miami Middle School and High School kicks off, first-year principal Pam Bevis is looking ahead. She's focused on student success in and out of the classroom. Miami Public Schools already offers free lunch to students. It's a program Oklahoma Secretary of Education Ryan Walters wants to make available across the state. And as educators await official notice on changes to statewide testing, many are embracing the shift.
I think that it leaves open-ended to be more real-world based. You know, so instead of being so test-heavy and making the kids anxious about the text that's coming up, I think it's better to be able to teach into real world and not have that looming pressure of the test.
Tonight on KOAM News at 6, we'll hear from the Miami superintendent regarding Oklahoma testing. Well, Missouri Southern is roaring with pride today as it hosts its annual Spirit Tunnel. This pep rally brings together the school's athletics, cheerleaders, and band. Faculty says it's all for one purpose, to welcome new students and to ignite the unmistakable Lion spirit.
It's a really special event that helps them see the importance that they bring to our campus. Everything that we do is about the students, and so if we can do things that make them feel welcomed and appreciated and special their first semester at college, I think that's a great way to start off their journey.
The new freshman class was treated to snacks and beverages to help celebrate the new school year. Still ahead, time for bed.
Back to school includes back to a good sleep schedule. I'm Michael George with tips to get kids and parents back on track.
And later in Health Watch, the American Heart Association pumps out new guidelines for people at risk of high blood pressure. Topping today's Health Watch, getting ready for the new school year starts with a good night's sleep. CBS's Michael George has some tips to get kids and parents back on track.
Nakia Hargrove's family has their back-to-school strategy all tucked in.
So the week before school starts, we push back their bedtime about 30 minutes.
Gradually recalibrating that bedtime, doctors say, is crucial after a fun-filled summer where schedules are often looser.
Summertime, the schedules are off. However, you want to get your kids back on a great sleep schedule so that they can be more productive during the school days.
The amount of sleep kids need depends on their age. According to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, preschoolers need up to 13 hours a day, including naps. Children aged 6 to 12 should sleep 9 to 12 hours, and teenagers benefit from 8 to 10 hours a night.
You have to remember, this is a new world, especially to young kids, and they're learning so much. And just like every other thing in your body, you have to have time for it to rest so that when it's active, it can be on it can be at the best potential.
Other important sleep tips: don't eat a heavy meal before bed, ditch those screens, and choose relaxing activities like showering and story time.
It's good to think of like a sleep runway, 60 to 90 minutes before you're hoping to fall asleep. And during that time, you're trying to take the cognitive load off of your mind, right? It would be like if you're driving, you're kind of slowly letting go of the gas pedal.
Hargrove says her twin 10-year-old daughters learn the effects of staying up too late.
They get to recognize how they feel the next day when they wake up, and if they're like groggy and they don't like how they feel, then they know, okay, I have to go to bed earlier.
Good advice for kids and parents alike. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Doctors say if parents start to notice their kids' anxiety ticking up as school approaches, talk to them about what they're thinking. You can even consider a test run of stressful activities like visiting the school or meeting classmates before the first day. Well, there are new guidelines for people at risk of high blood pressure. The American Heart Association recommends limiting salt intake, consuming no more than 2 alcoholic drinks a day for men and 1 drink a day for women, losing 5% or more of your body weight if you're overweight, and managing stress with meditation, breathing exercises, and yoga. High blood pressure affects nearly half of all adults in the U.S. and is the nation's leading cause of death. More than a third of Americans aren't aware of the link between the human papillomavirus and cancer, and don't know there's a vaccine that can prevent it. A new analysis published in JAMA Oncology found states with the lowest awareness about HPV were in the Midwest and South. Another issue, HPV vaccination rates for boys are far lower than for girls. HPV can cause several types of cancer, including cervical cancer, but many are unaware that HPV can also cause cancers that affect men, such as head and neck cancer. Researchers say they've discovered over 100 people in their 60s and 70s with the immune system of someone much younger. A Mayo Clinic study calls it a fountain of youth immune system and says these people have specialized immune cells. Scientists hope to learn more about why these people have young immune systems, but they also point out there's a downside, a higher risk of autoimmune disease. Doug returns with a complete look at your forecast, and later, increasing food prices creating a cost hike for brown bag lunches.
Well, definitely turned out to be another hot, humid Friday. We were a little bit cooler at the beginning of the week, and then it's really heated up over the past several days, and it's really dried out. We've had a few hit and miss little storms down through eastern parts of Oklahoma, northern parts of Arkansas. Everybody else dry, and that's what we're going to see as we go through the weekend. Let's walk through the next 48 hours. We're going to start your Saturday morning 75, 76 degrees. It's hot. It's humid, rapid warm up into the lower 90s, maybe even mid 90s by noon, so 93 to 95 degrees. Once we get into the afternoon, here's your high temp at about 4 to 4:30. A lot of 96s, 7s, and 8s. So if you're heading to Lake, Stockton, Table Rock, Beaver, Grand, yeah, it's going to be hot. It's going to be very humid, but it should be dry. Pretty much clear skies heading into your Sunday morning, 76, 77 degrees once again. As we get into Sunday afternoon, a few more cumulus clouds, but again, high temps, 96, 97, 98 degrees across the region. So if we break down and summarize your weekend, consistency is a good term. 97s each day, heat index about 100, 103, popping to 105 in some spots. Here's the reason why our dew points are up there. When you see dew points in that 70 to 74 degree range in the summer, it's not good. It makes it feel muggy, too soupy, and that's what we're going to have. So this means our heat index is going to be up there. So heat index again, Saturday, 100 upwards to about 105. Let me take you into Sunday. Does it change? No, it does not. Heat index 100 to about 105. There is a very slight chance there could be a random thunderstorm Sunday afternoon, but I'm going to keep it dry. All right, can you find the area of high pressure? Look at the circulation. What this does is it keeps the storms, that monsoonal moisture, and it rotates it around, but we're under the heat dome, so we stay hot and dry, and we're going to stay under that dome as we go through the weekend. It just kind of sits on us. So here's Monday. Now, next week it starts to shove its way back toward the west. I do want to point out, here's Hurricane Aaron. Looks like it will track just east of the eastern seaboard. Now, with high pressure moving back west, see this wave? This may rotate in. So we may get a weak cold front that tries to slip into the region. Then we get a little bit of a northwest flow. So this could cool us down a little bit as we get into late next week. Fingers crossed. Let's go into next week. So here's Monday. It's much of the same, upper 90s to near 100 degrees. We're going to do that same thing again on Tuesday, upper 90s to near 100 degrees. Some changes though, chance for rain Tuesday night into Wednesday. And look at this, we could be looking at 80s for highs by the time we get to next Thursday, which would be fantastic. Not this weekend, 97 Saturday, 97 Sunday, 97 Monday, 97 on Tuesday. But look at this, 92 Wednesday, 88 on Thursday before the 90s return as we go into next weekend. Anthony?
Doug, thanks. Coming up, robots revolutionizing returns. Many companies already rely on technology to deliver products to customers, but now robots are working to streamline the return process. Topping today's Consumer Watch, well, plenty of companies, including Amazon, use robots to help get products to you, but now some businesses are using the same technology when customers return those products. Christine Lazar explains.
And so this one right here knows to stop.
Yep.
They know where to go and what to do. Autonomous mobile robots are now helping to process millions of returns at the Happy Returns warehouse in Santa Clarita, California.
It's challenging to do this with people walking. The robots make it more efficient and faster.
Humans take the returns off the trucks and scan them into the system, and then the robots do the rest, delivering and dropping the returns into the assigned box that is then shipped back to retailers. These QR codes on the ground direct the robots.
It'll drive there and convey it into a container.
Happy Returns Chief Operating Officer Tim Fair says what once took days now takes hours.
We now finish all the work the same day we get it, generally within a couple hours of the truck arriving from UPS.
In a report, retailers predicted that nearly 17% of purchases made in 2024 would be returned, and getting those products back on shelves can be pricey. Fair says the robots help bring down that cost.
Inventory is expensive, and so the faster retailers can get it back to stock, the lower their cost structure is for their customers.
Happy Returns is owned by UPS and works with retailers like The Gap, Windsor, Allbirds, Everlane, and Revolve. When consumers have a return with one of their participating retailers, they can take it to drop-off points at 9,000 locations nationwide, inside Staples, UPS stores, and Ulta.
The robots are a significant step forward in productivity and efficiency, and as we enter a more uncertain climate, merchants will need to look at every crevice they have to find opportunities to optimize.
The National Retail Federation found that more than half of consumers consider an online store's return policy before shopping there. That's likely why 2/3 of retailers say they plan to upgrade their return capabilities this year. Christine Lazar, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Retail robots are considered to be the new future of shopping for Americans. Well, that sack lunch you're sending to school with your kid is now pricier, the cost rising more than the rate of inflation over the past year. Research from Deloitte looked at 4 different lunch options that parents could pack in a week, assuming one meal would be purchased at school. It found the average daily cost of a brown bag lunch is currently $6.15, about 3% more than the start of the 2024 school year. A classic lunch, including a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and milk, saw even steeper price hikes. While less than $5, it runs you 6% more than it did last year due to the higher cost of items like jelly, apples, and single-serve milk cartons.
When asked what the reasonable cost for a packed lunch should be, $4.50 was the median answer from the parents surveyed, and all of the options in this study cost more than that.
42% of parents surveyed said their kids do bring lunch from home, even if cafeteria food is cheaper or sometimes free, citing reasons like quality and variety. Attention, muggles! Harry Potter has come to Krispy Kreme. The donut chain is launching a magical line of treats inspired by the 4 houses of Hogwarts, available starting August 18th. Fans of the popular book and movie series who rep their favorite house can get a free original glazed donut on August 23rd at participating Krispy Kreme locations. Shout out to all my Gryffindors. A final check of the forecast next.
Well, the heat's going to be sticking around as we go into the weekend. In fact, mostly sunny skies, high temps into the upper 90s. Don't forget the humidity is out there. So we're talking about a heat index 100 to about 105 as we go through the next few days. Now, we may cool down a little bit Tuesday into Wednesday with a cold front and chances for a few showers.
Doug, thanks. Up next on the CBS Evening News, as war wages on in Ukraine, President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin meet in Alaska. We'll have the latest on the talks. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News. Then on KOAM News at 6, charges follow this week's SWAT standoff arrest in Joplin. Plus, Oklahoma faces a teacher shortage after applicants are now forced to take a controversial new test. And our two-a-days continue with a preview of Webb City Cardinals football. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Well, a veteran from Fairland, Oklahoma is celebrating his 100th birthday this weekend. John Whipke was born in 1925 in Fairland and served in World War II from 1944 to 1946. Whipke is known in the community from his days as a repairman. He also served a term as Fairland's mayor and was a longtime deacon at the First Christian Church.
The Lord's been good to me. He let me live so long life. What for, I don't have no idea. He must have had good plans for me, or he wouldn't let me live that long.
According to John's family, he is as witty as ever and still very sharp in his mind for his age. So that's our time for now. Have a great night.